of celebrating yoga in today. So child's pose first. Start with your breathing, deep breath in. And nice, long, steady breath out. You might need to do that a few times. For whatever reason, my favorite time to practice is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And though I've usually been busy doing lots of thinking and things all day long, it takes a couple of exercise from me in the afternoon to be able to really just let go and enjoy and completely experience the practice. Now, on your next inhale, downward facing dog. If this downward facing dog is uncomfortable in your shoulders, you could always take puppy poses instead of the downward facing dogs. They're not quite child's pose. They're not quite downward facing dog. So your hips are over your knees and just your fingertips are on the ground. And if you're ever taking this, you would squeeze your knees. They'd sink down into the ground and squeeze them inward. And you lift the pit of your belly, so there's very little weight on your fingertips. You could even give it a try if you don't ever have shoulder issues and don't need this, just to know what this different alternative is. A puppy pose. Take a couple breaths here. Maybe it doesn't quite stretch your hamstrings the way the downward dog does, but it does stretch from your fingertips to your hips. Take one more breath here in your downward dog or puppy pose, and then step to the front of your mat. Ragdoll pose, so hang like an upside down U shape. Sway from side to side. Continue cultivating your breathing. That's it, until you start to feel like the whole backside of your body is warming up. Heels to crown of your head. Then from the center, press your feet down into the mat, come rolling up to standing, unwinding one bone at a time. You can lift your arms overhead, look up and stretch, and then bring your hands into prayer position. Settle your gaze on one point. It has this quality of drawing all of your attention and focusing it and settling your whole system. Set an intention, and then 3 ohms. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift up halfway, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog, or you could take the puppy pose here. Now, when you're doing the chaturangas, if those are such that they're bothering your shoulders, you can always take those with your knees on the ground. There's so much still to get out of this pose, but you can take the pressure off your shoulders. Take one more breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees, then move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, reach, extended mountain pose. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Lift halfway, high plank to low plank. Step into it, jump into it, knees down or up, upward dog, downward dog. 3 breaths. Just work together. There you go. 2 more. Here's the last one. Inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Nice. Halfway lift and fold. Inhale, stand. Stretch high and go back. Then fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Move to the low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Steady exhales. That's it. 2 more. Last one. On the exhale, bend your knees and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Take chair pose. Sit back into your heels and reach your arms high so hips go back. Inhale, stretch, fold on the exhale. Halfway lift, move to the low plank. Upward facing dog. Get the stretch. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward and lunge. Warrior 1. Arms overhead. Lift and reach. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, left side step and lunge. Bend your front knee a lot. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. Now keep your breath steady, keep your gaze settled, put your attention on your feet. Step them a little wider or open your heels wide enough that they disappear behind your toes. Take one more breath in. On the exhale, bend your knees, jump to the front of the mat. Halfway lift and fold. Chair pose, weight into your heels and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Up dog. Down dog, right side, warrior one. Step, anchor the back edge of your back foot and lift. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, left foot, step and lunge. Back foot anchor, lift your arch. Hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, so sigh anywhere you need it. 2 more. Last time, inhale. Bend your knees on the exhale and jump. Half lift, forward fold. Chair pose on the inhale. Fold on the exhale. Half lift, low plank, stretch out. Up dog, down dog, right side, warrior one, lunge. Long stride, deep lunge, reach, chaturanga. Up dog, down dog, left side, next. Step and lunge, lift up and reach, hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. One of the most common defaults in these warriors when I look around the room is on the back leg. You're rolled into the arch of the foot, and then that starts bending your back knee. Got to anchor and press the baby toe edge of the back foot down and have a sense of feeling like you're lifting from the arch all the way up to the groin. So let's give it a try on the next round. Take another breath in. Bend your knees, look forward, and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Organize your feet, chair pose, squat and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, warrior one right side and hold it. Steady breathing. You can look at your foot or just with your own felt sense, anchor the baby toe edge of your foot down, then lift the arch of that same foot. You'll feel lifting up your inner shin, up your inner thigh. Deep, deep lunge once you have your back foot anchored. That's it. Look up and reach up, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. The left side now. Left foot forward and lunge. Warrior one. We'll stay right here and breathe. Doesn't matter if you think you're a person with a flat arch or not. It's not necessarily the look of the lifting. It's the effect of putting it energetically in the space. Big deep lunge. Lift up and reach on this next inhale. Take the breath. Inhale. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Let's go for one more round of that. One more breath here. Exhale, bend your knees and jump. Half lift, fold. Now organize your feet. Take a quick look. A lot of you, all of a sudden you turn your toes out and you squat, and then you're missing a lot of the stretch and strength. Organize them to be parallel and squat back into your heels. Reach up, open your heels more, kneel, and more, not your toes, just your heels. So keep your toes where they are, but move your heels wider. That's right. Yes. Inhale, reach up, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, move to the low plank. Up dog, down dog, right side, warrior one and lunge. Now you know what to do with your back foot. Do it automatically. Then hands down, chaturanga. Up dog, down dog, left side, step. Arch lifting, back thigh lifting, hands down, chaturanga. Good. A lot of good changes in the feet. Up dog to downward facing dog. Good. Take a sigh. Now raise your right leg into the air, bend your knee and flip the pose over. If for any reason being on your shoulder with the flip dog isn't great for your shoulder, sit down, rest the fingertips of your back arm on the ground, and then bend in a cactus arm your right arm. That would give you some options here. You might even just keep your feet really active. The whole point here is to stretch and open the chest, maintaining that the back is open. One more breath, then side plank. Side plank can be taken with the bottom leg down and no hands touching the floor. It's a lot more core strength in some regard as a modification. So it's one thing to try if you're giving your shoulders a rest. Take a breath, high plank to low. That's it, Missy. Up dog to downward facing dog. Let's do the left side, left leg in the air, bend your knee, flip the pose over. 2 feet on the floor, one hand on the floor. Maybe also your hips on the floor, up to you. Now steady breathing. Let your space be opening between each one of your ribs. Then side plank, left hand on the mat, face the long right side of your mat, stack your body up. Yeah, if you're trying out that different modification, just reach for the floor, reach for the ceiling without crunching down. Both sides of your torso in all variations getting longer and longer. Yes, Angie, that's exactly it. Another breath. Good, Missy. For everyone, strong pit of the belly, high plank to low. Up, it's a killer. It looks simple and like, oh, you just put your knee down. It's so easy. It's not. Yeah, it's a good strong variation. Okay, right foot forward for crescent lunge. Set your gaze, get your arms overhead, and let your whole body take on a reset right here. Bring the breathing. Organize your back foot, whether it takes looking down and back at it to get it standing, all 5 toes on the ground, heel on top of your 5 toes, and then go low in the lunge, but reach up. Keep breathing, reach up and go back. Deep, deep lunge. Bend that knee a lot, Debbie. One more breath. Hands to prayer position and twist. Bring your left elbow to your right knee. Anchor it there, then fire up your back leg. So straight, strong, heel pressing back. And opposite of your heel pressing to the back of your mat, stretch your chest to the front of your mat. So you can create it that from your head to your heel, your whole body's just being pulled straight and strong. Open your arms if you'd like. And then the target is your back left rib cage area. Breathe into it. That's it, Jen. I can see you working with that. Another breath right into your back left ribs. Come on up to crescent lunge. Open to warrior 2. There you go. Settle into your feet. Your back foot, so it could be parallel to your short end of your mat, the back end, or heel more out, toes more in. But what you want to get to is to the place where you're lunging, and it's not just this leg that feels this pose, but this leg does too. You feeling it? A little more. Yeah, now you really feel it, right? Then stretch. So match the feeling in your hips with the stretch and tilt and keep the stretch. Now bend your front knee a little more once you get down into this. You'll feel your front inner thigh stretch out a lot. And then for everybody, on your next exhale, blow out through your mouth and draw the pit of your belly into your spine and keep it there. And keep on breathing. 2 more breaths. Lift your chest up. Keep breathing. Last one. Then hands to the floor, chaturanga. I listen to you, and that's how I know when it's time for us to do the next things. And when you all of a sudden all hold your breath, it's like time froze. But I'm okay with that because I'm still breathing. If you guys want to hold your breath for a while, you just go for that. You probably don't want to. Left foot forward, crescent lunge. Arms overhead, set your gaze. Good. Heel out just a little bit more in your back foot than you're used to. So toward the street on this side. That's it, Grace. Big lunge. So that you feel like you're stretched into the pose. That's what's keeping you in it. Your back leg stretching, your lunge so deep, and just pull yourself up out of your back leg. Go up and go back. Up and go back. That's it, Adam. Hands to prayer and twist. Right elbow, left knee. So you know the deal on this pose. We want this idea of the body being pulled in two directions. Arms then open and up and down, pull in two directions that way. Now you got yourself in the way of the pose physically. You can just breathe into your back right rib cage. One tiny thing you could change is this hip up and this hip back. Yeah, now stretch your chest toward Grace. That's it. And turn toward the street for Jen. Reach up to the crescent lunge. Good work. Warrior 2. Keep your breath flowing here. Take a sigh or two if you need it, but keep it flowing. And then just start working with it. Work with your feet, your thighs, those back legs active. So the same thing we did with our back foot in Warrior 1, still present in Warrior 2. Lift the arch. So it lifts all the way up into your inner knee and the back leg. That's it. Stretch your arms apart and tilt your body. As you tilt, keep deepening the lunge. That's it. Back leg super strong. If you want, you can take your top arm behind your back to bind the pose half or fully. Once you hold your two hands together, then you really have to surrender because you're kind of in this maximum position. When your two hands are bound, let them press your hip in and under you and lift your chest. That's it. Good, Debbie. Keep lifting. One more breath. Good. Hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Just take one breath with an exhale and move to the front of your mat. Half lift. Forward fold, chair twist to the right. So organize your feet. They got to be parallel. When they start doing this, different stuff is happening in your body. You need them parallel. Hands to prayer and twist. Elbow to your right knee. So left elbow, right knee. And keep sitting your hips way back. So it feels like you're pulling your weight out of your toes, almost ready to fall down backwards. Once you get it all set up, pull the pit of your belly into your low back. That's it. You'll be able to then target your back left rib area. Breathe into that space of your back left ribs. Back left bottom ribs. One more breath in. One more breath out. Chair pose. Forward fold. Good. Hook your big toes and stretch down. Now this time with your feet, the exaggeration is to putting weight in the outer edge for most people. So press down on the knuckle of your big toe. So organize that part down too. And you'll feel how it just starts to spread open your lower back. That's it. You can shake your head out and let the weight of your head just pull your spine down a little bit longer. Sometimes in this pose, if you just concentrate on melting your heels into the ground and anchoring them there, but bringing your hips forward towards your toes a little more, yes, there's a lot more intensity in the back of your legs. Because we haven't done it in a while, and why not? Special day. Fingertips on the ground in front of your feet. Keep them right there. And see how your big toes are in one line right now? Keep that and lift your right foot up to the side. So that would not be big toes in one line. If my leg went way back here, out here, I can still see my toes out of the corner of my eye. I can feel it intensely in the outer edge of my hip. You got it. So toes up in the peripheral vision. And then heel to the ceiling as much as it'll go. And if you don't be discouraged if your foot won't come off the floor today. Okay, Neil says enough. Put your foot down and shake your hips out. Yeah, that one can produce a cramp. Let's do the other side. So set it up again. You know what it's going to take in your body. And if it's best for you to have your hands on a block, you can definitely do that. Lift your left leg up to the side. Yeah. Bring your toes a little more forward. Yes, like that, Jen. And one side's different sometimes. Yeah, I know. Okay, bring it back down, shake it out. Why don't you do this? Toe heel your feet wide now. You've earned a goddess squat. That's going to feel good. So good. Nice. Good. You can shift your hip over to one, or your weight over to one foot and keep pressing away from you, this left elbow into your left knee, and maybe switch to the other side and do more pressing away. You can bring your fingertips to the floor and drop this knee down and up, and then the other one down and up. Give that a try on each side a couple of times. Just like moving through the mobility of your hips. It's like good and bad all at the same time. When you feel even, come back into the goddess squat. And then forward fold. So now we have a chair twist going the whole other direction coming our way. So set your feet up parallel to one another. Sit back into your chair pose. It'll be hands to prayer now, right elbow to your left knee. So the things to be aware of is not to make your back round and try to twist, nor to make it so that your belly is sagging and try to twist. We just want a long straight line from your hip crease to the crown of your head. So you'll be able to feel that hips back, crown of the head forward, like you're stretching between these 2 points. You're welcome to open your arms if you'd like to take your pose there. Maybe wrap your arm behind your back. Sit way back and deep. Breathe into your back right ribs. There you go. Keep on breathing, stretching long. Sit really deep and take one more breath. Good. Open. Chair pose will be next. Forward fold for the gorilla pose. Stand on your palms. So you just slide your hands under your feet from the front. You stand on them. Shift your weight out around through your palms. Massage your palms and your wrists. I'll never forget chatting with Charlie one day and talking about how one of the benefits you like out of your yoga class is that you know your hands and your fingers are remaining malleable. As we age, that can be something that we lose, is the malleability in our hands and our fingers. That might make you much more interested in standing on your hands right now and wiggling your toes. Another breath. Let's take crow pose. Any variation, hands down, or the one I'm actually loving right now is essentially like a bug that got flipped over. So elbows between the knees, and I've got my crow hands, but rolled up, getting better and better at the C-shaped spine. So the bottom of my pelvis lifting, my ribs folding at the bottom rib. Now, every time you exhale, blow out and pull the bit of your belly more to your spine. You'll feel more of the back of your pelvis come off the mat. Stay here and take 5 breaths. Knees and elbows, they can press and resist one another, but can you keep that really hollow C-shaped body? Finish all 5 breaths, then hug your knees into your chest and rock head to tail 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times, back and forth. And then on the last one, plant your feet, reach, and come to chair pose. Jen's like, which way is the yoga? From the chair pose, stay squatted down, eagle pose, right arm under, right leg over. Stand tall in your spine. A little tricky, huh? So once you get all set up, sit down really deep, squeeze your legs, squeeze your arms, but as you sit deep, you can pull your arms up tall. One more breath. Step out on your inhale, stretch up, then the left arm under, left leg over. That's it, some steady breathing. This is right about the point where you can tell yourself, oh, you did a good thing coming to class today. This is usually right about the point it starts to feel really good. Another breath. Step out, hug your right knee into your chest. Oh, poor Ryan's connection keeps dropping off. Hug your knee into your chest. You can hold your foot and extend your leg forward. If you usually avoid the extending of your leg forward, I would encourage you to take it. When you get to this, yes, you're getting all the different stretching that you're well aware of, but you're also starting to learn to keep your movements level from the core. So 2 sides of the pelvis level to the floor. That means this hip isn't hiking up and pressing out. So let your hip crease soften and see if you can stand a little taller. It might mean knees are bending a little more. Another breath. Hug your knee into your chest, airplane pose. So open up. And keep your breath flowing. Active feet. You got it. And then press your standing foot down and lift right up in the crease of your left hip. Just lighten the load of your torso on the top of your left femur bone. There you go. Hands to prayer, half moon, left arm down, right arm up. Just imagine there's something pressing down on the side of your lifted leg's shin, your right leg. And you're kind of just scooting it up, scooting the ceiling up. Standing inner thigh a little tight, that will restrict the pose opening, and maybe even do a little bit of restraining your foot from being as parallel as you want it to be. It might turn in a little. One more breath. Forward fold and hang. Sway from side to side. And come on up to standing. If you want your strap, grab your strap. Hug your left knee into your chest. Steady breathing. Knee into your chest. Work with your hips until they're level. Bring your breathing. Missy, check out your standing foot, and Grace. Both of you can stand with your standing foot more parallel. You too, Grace. So it's heel out, not toes. Yeah, keep going that way. That's it. Steady breathing. Extend your leg if you're going there. Could you just imagine that on the arch of both of your feet, there's just something gently there pressing, you're pressing back into, so press, Grace. Yes, it'll bring your body into square. Nice. Hug your knee into your chest. Airplane pose. Open up. And let the pose be lifted and light. So press your big toe down and let the waist right in the crease of your right hip lift. That'll even, as you notice, it'll start to drop your left hip down, firing up your standing inner thigh. So strength has to build. Hands to prayer, half moon, right arm down, left arm up. Keep your breath flowing. See if you can stretch your feet away from your center line. That's it, Ratana. Little softness in your standing knee. Just a little bit so you can really anchor your big toe. Oh, good. We've got Ryan back again. Good. One more breath. Forward fold and hang. Sway from side to side. Okay, you are ready now. And here comes the pose where you're going to get completely across to the transformation on the other side that the practice asks to bring to you. Come up to standing bow, right arm back, palm out, hold your ankle. So this isn't the pose to just sort of hang out and lightly put yourself in it. This is the one to go for it. Hold your ankle or somewhere awkwardly down lower on your shin until you feel your quad stretching, and then stretch forward and back. And get that stretch so far pulled apart that you know if you give up a little bit on one side of this, the whole pose will go. Once you have that, add the up and down. This pose has to have the equal and opposite. It's a balance of that. It's not a conservative balance of it. It's on the edge balance of it. If you fall out, no big deal. Stay in the rhythm of your breath and in your practice and just flow back into it again. Maybe a sigh. Find some new space by relaxing your shoulders. Come on out. Switch sides. Left arm bone back. Forearm open. Hold your ankle from the inside. Get lower on your shin than you're used to. Right arm in the air. So there's only, if you always hold your toe or you always hold your ankle, there's a limit to how far in the pose you can go. When you go down on your shin, the capacity of your body to do Hanumanasana, the split, can be expressed in this standing pose too. You'll want to keep breathing. Yep, you want to bring fuel into the pose. Yep, once you get the sigh, now drive your kicking foot up, drive it up, and come on out. Good, feet on the floor. This is your chance to get settled, to get grounded. Sometimes it's hands on your thighs, not because your lower back hurts, but because it's what gives you more breath. Maybe it's prayer on your hips. Let your body settle, and then we'll do a second set. Right arm back. Hold your ankle from the inside. I like it when the teacher skips over the second set and I'm practicing, and I really prefer that we do it because the second set's where all the magic happens. If that were true, then what's so for you here? You got it, Grace. A good spot for you to be gripping. Now drive your foot up to the ceiling. Nice, Chuck. Foot up to the ceiling. You got a lot of good space in that pose. Are you at the edge where if you had any less reach or any less kick, you'd surely lose your balance? Yep, that's where you want to be. Come on out. I can see that. Do you ever get to that place where it's that quality of feeling like there's a bubble and you're in it and you're reaching out with all the parts that are reaching and touching the edge. And if one part comes off the bubble, the whole thing goes. Try the left side second set. And so it's not just reaching for the goal of reaching to the edge of it all and knowing you won that reaching contest. It's instead, you gain such an interesting new capacity to breathe, for your heart to move and work blood through your system in this particular pose. One side compressed, one side stretched, one side constricted, one side free flowing. And then when it comes to balance after the pose is over, there's just a whole new awakening. So take yourself physically to the edge, right at the edge. We're just not sure if you'll maintain this anymore. Adam, you've got such great shape there. Now kick a little more, tilt a little more. What's the next space in the pose? And coming out for everybody. Really good hard work. Breathe. Just let yourself go inside for a second and just feel what you're feeling right now. Whatever it is, it's right. Yeah, you should definitely at the end of that pose have a sense of like, whoa, it's a lot of yoga today. Tree pose. You earn your tree. So left foot down, sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Little softness to the standing knee so you can get the big toe anchored. You can always take the pose lying on your back. I really love just pressing my palms together. Now taking your hands behind you and taking prayer hands behind your body can be very nice as well. We know that we're going to come in a little bit to some back bends, and all the stretching down the forearms and in the wrists are pertinent to the back bend happening easily. Another breath, and then let's switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. Take it away. Steady breathing. Yes. Pit of the belly into your body, into your spine, and even a quality of up to your chin. Yep, that was it, Lindsay. I saw that change. Now just a tiny bit of softness in your standing knee. Yep, right into your big toe you stand. Good work. All right, step out of it. Come to the front of your mats. Once you're there, inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Look up and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, get a flat back. Chaturanga, stretch head to heels. Upward facing dog, stretch the front of your body. Downward facing dog, right foot forward, triangle pose. Step it forward and open your arms and breathe here. You want to have a nice long stride. The four corners of both of your feet. So press this knuckle of your front foot. Press that knuckle down right there in your big toe. Just press the knuckle of your front foot's big toe down. Once you have your feet, pull the pit of your belly in and keep it in. So it's just the pit. It's not suck in your gut. It's draw in an energy lock. Your Uddiyana Bandha is what it's called. Once you have that, it's a foundation. It'll hold you up. You can start to open into the back bend, to drop your head back. So look back behind you, Chuck. See if you can see the green of the plants, and that's it, the front window. So you can see the blue of Grace's shirt, the purple of Missy's shirt. Grace, you look back and see if you can see the street. Come on up. Side facing wide, leg forward fold. Feet parallel to the short sides of your mat. Fold all the way down. Walk your fingertips in front of you and hang your hips back behind your heels. I just on a roll in my own body of being really interested in all of the space in my side ribs and in my back rib cage. And that when I don't have that, that leads to so much tension in other parts of my body. Breathe into those spaces. Create that they move when you're taking breath. And you might just have to imagine that's happening for a while. Practice with the faith that it one day will happen. Good. All good form at home and here in the studio. Come on back up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat. Standing single leg forward fold. Let's do the prayer hands behind your back. See if you can press your palms together. Right foot is the forward foot. Anchor the big toe down and fold. Keep driving your right hip back. You'll feel so much stretching in your front legs, hamstrings, and calf muscles. Jen, you'll want a longer stride. Yep. And then you'll have to, a couple of you could take a longer stride. Angie, yours could be longer. Your back foot could turn out, toes toward Damien. Nice work on the split, Charlie. That's always an option. See if as you're in this, you can move your hands, your prayer hands, a little further up your back. Believe it or not, shoulders rolling forward. We'll take these up your back a little further. And and then you can press them together. Okay, twisting triangle. Right hand, left hand to the block or floor. Open up to the right. A lot of good form taking shape in the room. I love the attention to a forward linear, forward and back pose. A twisting reverse half moon is an option you can take. There'll be a lifting up of the back leg as an alternative here. That's it, Lindsay. For everybody, one more breath in, one more breath out, and step out of it. Come to the front of your mat. At the front of your mat, sweep your arms overhead and fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now the left side, step your left foot forward, triangle pose. That's it. Anchor your feet, keep your breath flowing. The pit of your belly, draw it in and up. So it's this, the pit is the area in the front of the pelvis. It's not your belly button. It's down here in the front of your pelvis. It goes into your body, up to your chin, and it becomes the foundation of your strength. Once you have that, you can take your hand that's on the ground behind you up to 10 more inches and start dropping your head back. Your center will be so strong and side body so stretched out, you can start to open your chest. It takes a leap of faith to trust you're not going to fall over. More belly. Take your hand even further behind you, Grace, off of your mat, the bottom one. Yep. Strong belly, toes on the floor. Now reach. Look back and reach. See if you can feel like you're going to touch Missy's shoulder. Yep. That's it, Missy. Whole body, stretch it long. Look for Neil. Now, you know I'm standing here, so take a breath in. A big sigh. That's where your body goes in this pose. Who knew, right? Come on up to standing. Face the long right side of your mat. Hands behind you, interlace your hands. Lift your chest up high, forward fold. You could hold a strap or hold your hands together, spill your hands overhead. So when we customize our practice, either modifying, so dialing the pose down, or intensifying, dialing the pose up in effort, in energy, in intensity, it's not for the show of it, the performance of it. It instead is because the principles are in place in such a way that there's a path to walk down in the pose. There's an ability to lean back a little further because the foundation's there, for example. And in the leaning back a little further, you get to step into a new level of energetic flow in the pose. Have you ever experienced that in any pose you've ever done, where you get to a place and all of a sudden the effort part of it, it's still going on, but it's not where your focus is anymore. It somehow feels like you've plugged it into some source of energy and the whole thing gets kind of like easier or brighter. Have you ever experienced that ever in one pose? Come on up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat, hands behind you in prayer position. Press your palms together. If you can get your hands sliding up a sweaty back, that's an easier way to get deeper in this pose with your hands. Forward fold. A lot of action from the feet, working the front hip back, the front big toe down and into the mat. That's it. You should feel it in your hamstrings, feel in your calf muscles. Nice alignment from all of you. Work with where your body is. Now we'll get ready for twisting triangles. Some of you felt a little crowded when you decided on the other side you wanted to go for the reverse half moon. So know that you want your fingertips a little forward of you. Get your twisting triangle, and then when you lift into this, you may have to move your bottom hand a little forward. So Lindsay, you can move your bottom hand and block forward if you feel like, yes, there, more steady. One more breath. Forward fold and hang. That's it. Come rolling all the way up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. Look up and stretch up. Look up and then fold to the floor. All the way back down. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Get this last big stretch of the front body. Downward facing dog. Fingers to hips stretch back. Then high plank and all the way down to your belly on the mat for locust pose. Reach your arms out in front of you. Keep your toes turned under like they were in the push-up. Reach your arms as far as they'll go. So you're like stretching your body long. Press your heels back away from your hips. Reach your fingertips forward away from your head. Take a deep breath in. Press your palms down into the ground and lift the pit of your belly into your body. You're just making a little hollow body. It's a tiny little movement. So my hands pressing into the floor. I'm just lifting the pit of my belly into my body, keeping my legs active. Breathe here. Pit of the belly staying in. You know that's the front of the pelvis area, less the suck in the gut area. Breathe here. One more breath. Relax. It's an interesting kind of work, isn't it? Shake your hips from side to side. Let's do another one of those. Toes turned under, heels back. Take a breath in. Blow all of the air out. Pull the pit of your belly into your body. Press your palms into the ground so your armpits get more hollow. And breathe. Keep the action. See if you can breathe. That's it. Your tailbone, you might start to notice, is descending toward your heels on your mat. Charlie, if you're close enough to that wall, press your heels into it. You got it. Give yourself that stability. Palms down, maybe forehead down, pit of the belly in. Relax. Shake your hips from side to side. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Bend your knees, reach back, hold your ankles. You need the pit of your belly. It's easy in these poses to just let your belly go soft and melt into the ground. It's not what you want to have happen. Get your feet and bring the pit of the belly in and then kick back and rise up. Just see what you can do. Another breath. And come on down. Rock from side to side or wave your feet from side to side. Second set or second side, depending on how you're practicing today. Get ready, kick back, and rise up. Back and up. One more breath. Come down. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, jump through, bridge pose. All the way through to your bridge pose. Once you get onto your back, all the way up into bridge pose. At home, Rotten and Ryan, I don't know if you heard, but we've got Angie has made her Century Club today, and it's also Missy's birthday today. So we've got a lot of celebrating that we're going to have to do in the back bends today. That's it. Press down and rise up. Get your shoulders pressing into the mat so they become like feet in the pose. Once you feel like your foundation is good, fingertips to the ceiling, flex your wrists, hands on the floor, set them wide. If they start narrow and kind of under your neck, that's not going to work when you're in the pose. Set them wide, press down and rise up. All the way up. All the way up into the pose. Take a breath. Come down, just touch your head and go back up. All the way up. 3 times like that. Come down, just touch your head and press up. Come down, just touch your head, press up. Down, just touch your head, press up. Hold it right up here, and then we're singing happy birthday. Are you guys ready? It's happy birthday to Missy. Are you ready? In your pose, get set, go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Missy. Happy birthday to you. Come on down. Supta Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees out. A lot of you in the room here and at home actually right now are people who practice a lot. And I acknowledge you for that, whether it's your 100th class today, this year, or it's somewhere else along the path. Damien, you're 130 some now. Charlie, what are you at? 120-ish? Yeah, a lot of you in here practice a lot, but you know it makes a difference in who you are every day for yourself and other people. It's a game changer. So I acknowledge you for getting in here and doing the work. It's not always easy to make the time or to want to go get sweaty, but you can feel it pose by pose. It changes who you are. Dead bug pose. Knees, pull them back. You can rock from side to side. Okay, hug your knees into your chest. Hug them in nice and tight. Now, curl up in a tabletop. So you've got your tabletop legs, feet active. If you want to hug a block, you can. And then when you're curling up, what we're looking for is that you're folding at the bottom of the ribs and the whole back of your spine, including the back of your neck, stays long. So if you feel like it's crunching, you've got to change all of that. Curl up. Once you're curled up here and you're reaching, all we're going to do is take a breath in, blow all the air out, and sink your belly button deep down in your body toward the floor until you feel your whole lower back anchored to the floor. No airspace at all in your lower back. Now breathe in, blow out, and just touch your right toes and bring them up. And touch your left toes and bring them up. You keep doing that work and keep your attention on your lower back. That the pit of your belly is so deep in your body the whole time, you never experience any arcing up off the floor of one side of your back and the other side of your back. Can you feel that? It's like kind of a lot. It's tiny little intense work. Hug your knees. That many, you're probably past the point of truly having your whole back on the ground. Legs straight up in the air. If you want, you can hug a block between your ankles. Make your body long and curl up. Again, blow out and sink the pit of your belly in. There'll be no need to let your head go back, arch your back, and unwind this pose. You're at the bottom of it here. Stay curled up. Then breathe in, blow all the air out, and sink your belly deeper. Breathe in, blow out, sink your belly deeper. You'll reach just a little bit. Do 5 of those. 5 tiny movements. 4, deep belly, the low, low, low front abdominals. Last one, hug your knees into your chest. Rock back and forth and through to downward facing dog. It'd be fun to work on those for like the next hour, but we don't have an hour. Right side pigeon pose. Once you get going and you can articulate, okay, just this side, just that side, it's fascinating. Right side pigeon pose. I didn't even know that was a thing for like most of the first part of my whole life, that your abdominals are that active. You could take the pigeon pose lying on your back, or traditionally it's body down, face down. We're working on opening the back of your right hip, the rotators, and the lower back area. If you're pretty comfortable, reach back for your left ankle with your left hand and fold forward again. The practice can get pretty boring if you don't stay present in every pose and in every moment. And that's probably its first big lesson, is to teach us to be present. That took me, honestly, 10 plus years of practicing. But once you get to that, it's infinitely interesting. And then you're just working with it all the time. What's so right now? What else can I do? What differently do I need to do right here? What would be better for my body right now? What would give me the better outcome right now? What does it take then, now that I've put myself at the physical edge, to just stay right here and breathe? Let's switch sides. Unwind what you're doing and switch to the other side. So while we're intimately feeling the opening that we've now got going on the left back hip, that's what we're always first and foremost, I think, aware of. What we might not really realize is the work that's going on in your left lower back right now has everything to do with the health of your left knee for the rest of the day, and then all the way down into the joint of your ankle. Stretching your arms forward, fold it. You could be breathing into your ribs once more. Your body's taking on a little bit of a movement toward the C shape, exposing the opening in the back of your rib cage. You could breathe into that. You could come up and reach for your back heel with your right hand and fold forward. It's a lot that could be going on. So bring intensity to the practice. That doesn't mean always make it hard, but bring an intensity of focus so you're always doing the practice that your body's telling you it needs that day. No teacher knows that. Only you know that part. Okay, come on up. Seated single leg extension. So sit on your left hip, straight right leg, fold over your long right leg. It can be helpful to elevate your hips, to soften your right knee. But for everyone, the foot flexed, particularly on the ankle, the outside right, the right ankle side of the foot. Yes, soften, pull that back. You got it. Here's a nice place to let the back of your body stretch and expand. I usually will take my right hand in this case and rest the back of my palm on my left hip. Switch your hands, Neil, if you can. Yeah. And then just in resting your hand back here, somehow from hand to hand, I can tap into this quality of that whole space stretching. Switch sides. Right hand to the left ankle. Left hand maybe around behind your back. It's a variation. The nice thing about being able to tap into so many different yoga teachers is that each person shares from their own experience of practice and learning. And so that's where we get all the variations from. What is it like if your hand is here, if it's over there? Always try them on and determine what suits your practice and adopt what works for you. 2 legs in front of you, seated forward fold. Reverse tabletop. Let your shoulders open, your biceps, forearms, wrists. You can sit down and roll onto your flat back and roll your feet overhead for plow pose. I always find this the best opportunity to get my shoulders put back in place from their oftentimes space in the day where they start creeping up toward my ears and rolling forward as I am confronting the challenges of my day. I find this pose to be the very best for me at just getting my shoulders put back in their home. Start to bring yourself out of this inversion, whichever one you have selected. And once you've come out, hug your knees into your chest. You can drop your knees to the right and look to the left. Switch sides. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees open wide. Take a breath and have a sigh. Then in studio, you've got a cool eye towel to your head, right or left. You're welcome to use that. But for everybody, get yourself set up for Shavasana. At home, you might need a blanket over your body. Here, a cold towel is just the thing. Stretch your legs long and wide, arms wide, palms face up. Create it so that you've arranged your bones to be comfortable. And then take a deep breath in. And And have a sigh. Let your bones settle into the mat. I'm going to read a reading to you from Journey to the Heart. I'm going to pick exactly the one for today. Usually I just flip through and let one pop up, but it seemed like we should just do today's, and I looked and it's called this, Learn to be Present. I haven't been able to give you much materially, he said. No jewelry, diamonds, gold, but the gifts I've given you, what I've had to offer, is staying fully present for you. Presence is a gift. Staying fully present for friends, family, ourselves, our lives. Staying in the moment with our hearts open will change other people's lives and ours. So often we've learned out of habit or fear to be only partially present, partially conscious for ourselves, others, and our lives. We aren't certain what we're feeling. Our attention and energy are diverted to the next place, the next person. We're there, kind of. There's another way, a better way. One where we keep our hearts open and we know what we feel. We take the risk of being vulnerable enough to share who we really are and to allow others to do the same. We become fully present for each moment and each person on our path. Yes, there are times when it isn't safe to be open and when the energy of the circumstance, it isn't right for us. But that usually reveals a lesson and dictates a choice. It may be time to learn, time to leave, time to feel, time to choose. Learn to release all that stands in the way of you and the present moment. Learn to let go of all that blocks you from being fully present for yourself and others. Give the gift of presence to yourself and to the world. Begin to deepen your breathing. To take a deep breath in, to open up your mouth and sigh and just squeeze your fingers and your toes. Maybe roll your head from side to side and then bring your knees into your chest. Roll to one side or the other. And then bring yourself up into a sitting position. Get comfortable and sit tall. You can stretch your arms overhead and bring your hands into prayer position. And just pause right here. Give yourself this one moment to just feel whatever you're feeling, how it feels to be in your body right now and in your life. And from here, if one shows up, set an intention for the rest of your day. And then 3 more times we'll chant together. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead and inhale. Exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Happy birthday to Missy. Happy 100th class to Angie. Thank you, Ratana and Ryan, for joining us from home. It's great to spend the Wednesday with you all. Maybe I'll see you Sunday morning at 10 or together on our mats before then. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Bye, Ratana. Bye, Ryan.